Yeah, I thought just kind of our game last week. Thought we finished the second half really well. Was pleased with how we came out. Thought the ability to execute, get a couple 3-and-outs was key in the game. First half, thought we played good, minus about 7 or 8 plays. We just got to be cleaner in those situations, backed up situations, sudden change situations where they're in the plus territory. We got to execute a little bit higher level. But I thought it was our best game as a whole, even though the score wasn't indicative of that. I thought, total yardage wise, we did some good things, just all the way around. Thought our D line was really dominant up front, in particular on those third down passing situations. Overall pleased, but definitely still have some areas to grow and improve. I thought we played a pretty clean game on the back end. I didn't think our corners were challenged that much, but with what they had, I thought they played well. I thought our safeties managed the game well. We got tackled a little bit better in the secondary. We had the most missed tackles we've had on the season in the safety room. I thought linebackers, we didn't have as much production as we'd had. Part of that was game plan wise, I think, a little bit, and then, but I was pleased. I thought it was the least amount of MAs as far as that group goes. So all in all, I think we're trending in the right direction. But obviously, this is going to be our biggest test this week with by far the most explosive offense that we've seen.
Scott, you mentioned how well your defensive line has been able to get pressure over the last 2 weeks, 5 sacks in each game. The Syracuse offensive line under new coach seems a little bit more stout than they were last year. And what challenges will that unit present your front four on Friday night?
Well, they're really experienced up front, and I think they're I think they're well coached this season. I think that the difference to me when I watch them on film starts up front with their O-line, and they're wanting to establish the run. I just think they look like they're on the same page much more, and kind of their identity, but yet they have the ability to still stretch the field vertically, in a way, with wideouts that, are probably, I would say, arguably the 2 best wideouts, we'll see, or definitely have seen up until this point, with Harris and 14. I think both of them, pose a problem. So, but I think it starts up front. I think they're really good up front. They've got a lot of experience, and I think they're really well coached.
And their running back Sean Tucker put up, some crazy numbers on Saturday night. What type of challenges does he present for your defense on this Friday?
Well, they ran the ball on us last year. I mean, if you guys remember, whether it was inside zone, outside zone, I thought he had a really good game. I think he is very physical, low center of gravity. You can't arm tackle him. You've got to gang tackle him. But he is by far the best back that we've seen this season. I don't think that's even a close comparison. So, we're going to have to play really well and to give us a chance to be able to get a guy like that down, whether it's in, the thing that I think makes Sean special is he can run in between the tackles and he can run outside zone. So, he's a back that, is kind of a do-it-all back. I think he's good in pass pro. They don't utilize him a ton out of the backfield, but, the clips you watch, he catches the ball, well. So I think last year, he was a freshman, I believe, and, we didn't know as much about him, obviously, coming into the game, but, going out of the game, I just thought, man, that's one of the better backs we've seen since we've been here. So I've got a lot of respect for him.
Scott, you mentioned the missed tackles from the safety room, and that's usually been a strength for your group since you've been here. Were those just bad technique, bad angles, and were things that can easily be cleaned up this week in practice?
Yeah, I don't think it's it's not a panic. It's just we got to do a better job of getting guys down in space. A little bit of both, technique, angles. I think those guys generally do tackle really well. They're going to be stressed more to tackle this week with the type of explosive nature of Syracuse's offense, and that's probably too, some of these games early, although Troy spread us out a good amount, but the ball came out so fast. Hard tackles are when there's space, right? When you got a close distance, close vertical space, and so a team like Syracuse that's going to stretch the field vertically, as well as our safeties will have to be able to make tackles in the box. So you know, it's definitely something that we're going to have to improve on this week to have a chance. And it just wasn't it wasn't just them. You know, linebackers, in every single position group, we got to tackle well to give us a chance. That's just a base foundation of playing good defense.
We've talked a lot about your defensive ends, the depth there, and their skill. And perhaps we've overlooked some of these defensive tackles. Last week we talked about Chibuzi, and then obviously Kendi Charles, a young guy that had 3 sacks against ODU. You know, how good are some of those guys you got? Obviously we know about James and Rusins, but do you feel like the depth there is as good as you got on the end spots?
Yeah, I think our D-line depth in general is really good, John. You know, I think the thing that's you know, Kendi had a heck of a game on third down, but I think the thing that's also you know, a little bit misnomer, you look at the stat sheet, well, you know, how was the guy sacked? Did the D-tackle sack him? Yes, but did the D-tackle get the sack because the D-end went speed to power and collapsed the pocket? You know, I thought Darrell had some great rushes that collapsed the pocket, and because of that, our D-tackles benefited. So I think a lot of times, you know, it's very easy to look at the stat sheet and say, well, this guy did this. Well, yes, he did, but also it's 11 guys playing together. You know, was the coverage good enough to give the D-line time to get a rush, you know? And so, you know, credit to those guys. I mean, Kendi is playing great and has been really productive, and that's been awesome for us to see because we knew, you know, we thought that he was capable of being a really good guy on third down. That's a huge role for him, for us. But it's also, you know, if those DNs don't do their job, obviously, and, you know, their rushes aren't in line with what we're doing at D-tackle, then it doesn't marry up. So I think it's having that, you know, understanding of, you know, every part doing their part, and because of that, you know, it doesn't really matter who gets the stats. The success is going to come, and sometimes those will be opportunities for the ends, sometimes those will be opportunities for the D-tackles.
Coach, in a game like this, from your perspective, how important is to force turnovers in this game?
Well, I think every single week it's important. I mean, I think, you know, we've made it an emphasis, and obviously you lose the turnover battle, it's hard to lose a football game. And so I don't look at it any different any other week. I mean, it's something that we stress, and, you know, we haven't been that productive at it, but I don't think it's, you know, a willingness. You know, I think we've caused some. They hadn't bounced our way, and we've had some missed opportunities. But I do think, obviously, it's important for us to take care of the football on offense, and when opportunities present itself, we got to get the ball back.